In the north, the winds howl in madness. They tear the land asunder. A doom long promised. The tribes of chaos gather beneath the 8-point star. At their head rides the ever-chosen. War comes. These are the end times.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the Endgame Scenarios. I have never had so many streaming tech issues in one day. Pretty much everything that could have broken did break today.
Yeah.
But we're here, we're live, just about alive. Welcome to the Archaon and Endgame Scenarios update. Actually, I'm pretty glad we were muted because I've done a far better intro that time than I did last time.
Nice.
Maybe I'll do that each time. What you just got to see was the opening cinematic for when we are when you trigger the Chaos Invasion, right? Which is one of the 3 new Endgame scenarios. Each of them have a cinematic.
Yep.
I saw the Nagash one earlier. It is very themed on the trailer. I think it is like a lot of the trailer footage.
Yeah.
And then the Vermintide has its own as well. I thought we'd start off with this one, seeing as this is one we've shown on the What's Next. But before we get in, thank you everyone for coming along. I can see Twitch seems to have recovered itself. But otherwise, welcome Mitch.
Yeah, thanks. Good to be back.
Second week in a row. It didn't scare you off the first time.
Yeah. No, first stream was very good, so back for more.
Fantastic. Well, this stream we will be going through Firstly, we'll be going through the end times updates, the end game updates.
Yeah.
I believe you were most involved with the Chaos one of these.
Yeah, so I did the Chaos one and the Vermintide. Yeah, and then we had Sean who did the Nagash one.
And we will work through trying to explain that together.
Yeah, there's a lot of complicated stuff within these, so lots to dig through.
And then we will also, after we've done that, we will then pop into Archaon, where I've got to save about 70-ish turns in. We will show what it's like just to play him a little bit, but also the changes made to him, but also the main one being become the end game, right?
Yeah.
The cool new mechanic for him. So what we've got here is something they have seen before, but maybe with less of an explanation than we had. You can kind of see already from the background things have gone wrong. I think the disclaimer I put is for the end games, we just set it to turn 20 to trigger.
Yeah.
So they've all triggered, they look great. They will be a little bit wonky just because I think you probably have expected us to have conquered more of the map than a single province at this point.
Yeah, exactly. So you've kind of cheated. Well, not cheated because you can do this if you really want, but I think for a normal campaign, you're not going to be experiencing it like the end games on turn 20. It's much more around, I think like starting around turn 80, I think.
Yep.
So
You can, though, move the slider.
You
can, and that's what we did. So if this is your intended experience, if you're watching, and you've always wanted to, on turn 20, have to face the entire combined might of chaos, you can do it. So we can see here, playing as Karl Franz, usually, obviously, we'd have taken most of the Empire by the time this is triggered. So the actual Chaos Invasion, how do you determine where it pops up?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think, should we talk like a bit more broadly about the end games first, and then we can...
Sure. Yeah, go for the holistic. Why have we changed it?
Yeah. So we had people are aware of this, but we had in Immortal Empires, we did have like end games. However, and I think this was the right decision at the time. When we were doing Immortal Empires, we were kind of aware of the fact that we had the old Chaos Invasion, but like the thing that we kept thinking at the time was, in a world full of bad guys, right? Which, you could have like Scarbrand, punching you in the face for your whole campaign. In like a world full of bad guys, how do you kind of do justice to like someone like Archaon, or the other, the other big bads, right? Like Nagash or whatever. We didn't have Nagash at the time. So our kind of idea back in Immortal Empires was we'll just make like a plethora of different end games and not really go too deep into them.
Yeah.
But obviously we had a lot of feedback on those, so like much more different now is our philosophy for the end games in this project. So yeah, essentially end games, the end of a campaign, it's a really hard thing to design for because the nature of like Total War is that it's like a power fantasy, right, to a large degree.
Yeah.
It's just the player's always going to be powerful towards the latter stages of their campaign. And, you know, bit of a history lesson here, right? But if you go back, this is not just a Warhammer thing. If you go back in Total War's history, we've tried to do like end games in like lots of different ways, lots of different times. You had like in Shogun 2, right? You had the Realm Divide, you had the Civil War in Rome 2, you had Attila like showing up in Attila, obviously, and so on. Lots of different kinds of end games, always really hard to pull off. So the philosophy we've had for this one is there's always going to be some things which are true, which is that to challenge a player, you're going to have to spawn stuff into the world, provide challenge that way. But really what we wanted to do with the end games this time around was just make them kind of look and feel very different in terms of like, you're going to feel like this is an entirely different portion of your campaign when you kind of the end game begins. So the other thing to mention is we have kept the old end games from Immortal Empires. However, we've now called those the Crisis. So those will occur kind of earlier in your campaign, and the end games are now like the late stage stuff that can kind of occur towards the end.
Once we've gone through this, we will we'll go back to the front end and we'll show those off.
So yeah, here we are in the Archaon one. So as you said, we've got 3 of them. We've got the Chaos Invasion, we've got the Vermintide, which is Skaven, obviously, and then we've got the Great Ritual of Nagash, which is obviously Nagash. So I remember like literally the first day I sat down to write the design page for Archaon, the very first thing I wrote on the page was, in a world full of bad guys, when like Archaon shows up, he has to be like the most badass like than anyone we've ever done before, right? Because Archaon, although like, you know, this project, it's inspired by the end times, it's not us, you know, literally doing the end times. Nonetheless, like Archaon is Mr. End Times, right? So when he shows up, he has to be like the ultimate badass. So in that vein, when Archaon shows up, he is essentially invulnerable. You cannot defeat him when he shows up to begin with. And we do that with ward save. So his force, his military force, his army is, you cannot defeat it to begin with. As he's begun his invasion of the world, the Chaos Gods have essentially like blessed him. And they've said, here, have this like immense amount of power to go forth into the world and destroy it. And so you can't kill Archaon straight away. The way you can eventually defeat him is you've got to weaken him. So he spawns into the world with a load of different armies all spread throughout the world. And he also spawns into the world with invasion fortresses. So the fortresses themselves will give a massive chunk of the ward save to Archaon, 10%. And then each of the armies will also give a small amount, about 1% of the ward save to Archaon. So essentially you can see the idea, right, is if you want to defeat Archaon, you've got to first whittle down his forces. You've got to survive against the hordes of chaos and eventually, you know, weaken Archaon enough that you can eventually hope to defeat him. So the other thing we've done, this panel, I really like this panel because each of the end games has like unique mechanics and a different way that it works. When you've kind of seen the cutscene and you've got the intro, then you'll be greeted by one of these panels each time you start the end game, and it'll tell you what's unique. It'll tell you like how the gameplay is now different in your campaign, and it'll tell you how you've got to defeat the invasion. So as I just said, you've got to weaken Archaon before you can defeat him, and like the rules of the campaign sort of change in certain ways for each of the end games as well. So you know, one of the big things for Archaon showing up is regions that are raised during the end game. They are permanently raised until the end game is over. So kind of as I've put there, like the world now is making its last stand against chaos, right? This is like do or die. You've got to kind of defeat Archaon or the world will meet its end. So yeah, the very rules of the campaign is sort of changing. The other big thing is one of the things that was like critical, I think, that you know, again, the first thing I put on the design page was we've done end games before. Now we're going to do them this time like they have to look and feel like better than we've ever done before.
Yeah, it's
So-
got to be an upgraded experience.
It's got to be an upgrade, right? So a big part of that is like the look and the feel of the world when you're in like the end game mode. So if you close the panel, we can like have a look, and you can start to see. This is what we call devastation. So the world can now be devastated in kind of 3 different types of devastation. So you've got the chaos devastation, you've got Skaven devastation, and you've got the undead Nagash devastation. So there are certain different ways that the world can become devastated. In the case of Archaon, it's obviously regions being raised. So as more of the world gets raised, the provinces will start to look and feel different.
Yep.
Like the lighting of the campaign will change. The environment itself will kind of go like you see like a dark sort of orange almost, like the world is burning. And yeah, the other thing, I don't know if we'll be able to show this right here, but like kind of the look, the feel, and the sound of the campaign is going to differ as well.
They should be able to hear it, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, we've got like different music tracks for each of the end games as well. And we've also got like voice lines of the protagonist and the advisor that are unique to each end game. So as you're kind of going through the end game, you'll be hearing from like Archaon, who'll be kind of like, saying stuff to you and taunting you almost. And then you'll have the advisor who's telling you like how the world is faring and different lines like that.
I heard from the audio team that Archaon and Carl Franz, for the first time in ages, have got like 5 new hours of dialogue, either individually or together. So it's been a nice opportunity to come back and update some of that as well. Yeah,
exactly. So yeah, look, feel, sound, and then like the UI itself, right? So we've got that little item on the left, which I know that's almost like a really small thing, but to me, just having that there, it's like you're in a different like mode of the campaign, right? Like, oh god, the end game is like here. I've got to like deal with this. This is a whole different like phase of my campaign. So the Archaon one, the Archaon Chaos Invasion, kind of each of the end games as well, we kind of imagined them having like a different difficulty curve, and you'll be able to see this on the front end again when we show it later. But the Chaos Invasion very much starts off like extremely hard. But over time, if you can just like withstand the forces of chaos, eventually you'll be making like headway, and it'll become like easier and easier over time until you can eventually defeat Archaon. So the other thing to mention is one of the big bits of feedback that we had from doing what we now call the Crisis, or the previous previous end games from Mortal Empires, was players were telling us that they wanted more narrative. The old kind of end games, they kind of came out of nowhere, right? You just got a pop-up saying, hey, here's this event, maybe the old Vermintide event, right? That popped up and just said, hey, this thing has happened, good luck, deal with it. But yeah, players told us they want more narrative. So as you kind of saw, we've got an intro cinematic now for each one. We've got the narrative voice lines. We've got various events that pop up in the campaigns. And we've also got, you wouldn't have seen that because we've started here where the main event has begun, but we've also got like the foreshadowing events.
I think we have the one of that for Nagash to show as well.
Cool. So yeah, you'll get notifications like earlier on in your campaign that, hey, like Archaon has gone missing. Later in the campaign, you'll be told like, hey, he's probably like mustering his forces in the north. You need to like prepare. So yeah, much more of like a narrative build up to these end games than the previous ones.
And also, so we'll see here that we're at war with Montfort from Baston. But now, suddenly, they're very interested in peace with us.
Yeah, so one of the things, again, the mechanics, the world's, the rules of the world change, essentially. So all forces who are fighting against the end game they'll have like a relations bonus. So maybe like, old enemies might be willing to make peace now. Maybe, your neutral faction next door will finally say, okay, let's have that trade agreement. Like, we need a little bit of extra money here. We're dealing with Archaon.
Everyone in this list willing to work with you.
Pretty much. I mean, Archaon shows up, right? Strength rank 1 at war with the world. Kind of what you expect,
It'd be an insight if it was strength rank 2, really.
Yeah, it would be. So yeah, like you can, different kind of rules to the campaign is going to start feeling very different. So yeah, kind of what you've got to deal with now is decide how you're going to deal with Archaon. You've got to go defeat his armies, defeat his fortresses. Eventually, you'll kind of weaken him enough where you can meet him on the campaign map. So you do have to defeat him at least once on the campaign map. Go destroy his army. And then once you've destroyed his army, the other thing that I think players will be really happy to hear is we've brought back final battles. So each of the end games has a final battle, like the big ultimate conclusion to each of the end games. So defeat Archaon on the map once. That's not the end of the story. You'll then have to go fight the massive end game final battle, and that's where you can like ultimately defeat the end game once and for all. And then after the end game is over, you'll kind of lose lose your benefits with diplomacy and stuff, because the world will start to go back to normal, like slowly but surely. All of the old devastation, as people like start to recolonize those regions, the devastation will start to fade away, the chaos corruption will go down, and the world will like eventually start to go back to normal.
So we can see that Boris here is trying to be the stalwart in the north, but they are creeping down. So they don't necessarily immediately seem to beeline for you. They are at war with everyone, and so over here you can see they've moved more this way to go and fight enemies there. So it's less of, oh great, now every single army is going to come and beeline for my capital, and it is more there are these forces roaming the world and destroying it.
No, exactly. I mean, that was one of like the crucial things is we know like players don't like when the AI just targets only them.
Yeah.
So you're getting like a bad example of it here just because you outscored them on turn 20. But if you can imagine like, a turn 80 campaign or turn 60 campaign or wherever, the way that like the spawning works is, I mean, this like I could write a book on the design for like endgame scenarios. It's a really tricky thing to do, but you don't want to spawn the enemy too far away, otherwise you're just not going to be able to get there, right? You're not going to be able to deal with them. What fun is that? You don't want to spawn them right on your doorstep, because then it's just like a little bit unfair, right? So one of the things that we've really tried to do is kind of just get like a good balance there. So they'll spawn like a far enough away that they're not right next to you, but they're still going to be within reach, so that you can actually like engage with the gameplay, obviously.
And if I was 80 more turns in, had all of my armies, I'd probably have come to meet at some of these choke points, right? But instead, I don't think Karl Franz has got much.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. Like, this is one of the good things about the foreshadowing events is you kind of know, like, roughly when you need to start preparing. So that's where, you want to send an army to maybe Helmgart or something and, like, start to prepare your borders or whatever else.
And we can see the number of factions has dropped quite considerably. Is it the... Oh, and everyone wants to be friends. The provinces up in Norska, then, are they confederated as part of Archaon's endgame?
Yeah, so a big thing with not only the Chaos endgame, but all of the endgames, apart from the Nagash one, because it wouldn't make sense, obviously, but when the Chaos invasion starts, all of Chaos band together, essentially. This is like Archaon kind of uniting all of the forces of Chaos in this one kind of big push against the world. So all previous factions that are aligned with Chaos will all join forces into a single mega faction that is the Chaos Invasion faction.
Someone's saying as well, oh no, I wouldn't have normally taken the mountains, so they would always spawn there. Well, actually, I moved Archaon from Altdorf to Grunberg for a different save of this and did the same thing, and they didn't spawn there. They spawned over here.
Yeah, it's not a set spawning system every time, and it's not literally on your borders either. So there's essentially just a lot of like complicated logic that decides where they should spawn based on the size of your empire and certain things like that, and it tries to spread out where the forces are. The other thing to mention, just because it's quite thematic, only like the fortresses in Archaon will spawn like in the middle of the world, again based on that spawning logic. The rest of the forces will all kind of spawn along the north and the south, kind of from like the Chaos Wastes. So that's kind of where like the majority of the forces comes from, like north and south. And the other cool thing is if you hover over this on the left,
it does have the Vermintide one as well. So slight spoilers for what they're going to see soon. Yeah,
this is like one of the bugs that we've just fixed today. But essentially you'll get like a bunch of information for how the invasion is progressing. So in the case of like the Chaos one, you'll be able to see how many of his forces are remaining, what his ward save are, and then also like how much of the world has been destroyed, how many regions have been razed, and so on.
So was that 29%? A third of the world's gone already.
So a third of the world's gone already. You'll start to get like more events that trigger as more and more of the world get destroyed, like asking you to kind of make tougher and tougher decisions.
I knew this would be seen as us like trolling them.
Why is
It's
that?
just a random name. It's just pulled a random name. It's not. We're not doing anything here.
No.
It's just because he spawned there last time. I was like, I hope I don't get that guy there this time.
Yeah, just a random name, unfortunately. Yeah, sorry to that one guy on Reddit.
I know.
So yeah, this is the Chaos Invasion. Kind of like one of the more simplistic ones, but also like one of the tougher ones. As I said, we've got like the different difficulty curve for each, and this one starts off very difficult.
Do we want to go back to the front end?
Yeah, let's go there.
Cool. People also noticed on our last stream the some of the factions had like a little red flame next to them. Have we secretly added? No, it's just that we don't always use this PC.
Yes, you hadn't clicked on the new guy, right?
No.
Yeah.
So there's nothing new for Norska. Okay, look, it was sale the whole time.
It's just you didn't click on sale, yeah.
So
yeah, I think we talked about this briefly last time, but quite frankly, the old front end was a bit of a mess. We had so many options in there, so it was time to clean it up and put all of the different options into various categories, clean it all up. So we've done that now. Looks much better. As I mentioned, the old end games we've now called Crisis.
Yep.
Crisis events, and we still got all of the options for those. We have naturally gotten rid of the Vermintide and the Nagash Crisis because obviously they've been supplanted now by the Endgame Scenarios. For what it's worth, we did keep all of the file. I know this is a minor detail, but we kept all the files in the game just in case a modder wants to turn them back on. Didn't really suit us, so we haven't done that, but it's all still there. So yeah, we've separated out like unusual locations, crisis events, and the endgame scenarios. So yeah, the endgame scenarios. This is kind of where you can change what you want to do. You can change the which ones trigger. So you've got the Chaos Invasion, the Vermintide, and the Great Ritual of Nagash. And as I mentioned, you can see kind of here where we've like essentially put like our assessment of what like the difficulty of this is. So yeah, like I said, the Archaon one with Chaos Invasion starts off very hard, but the difficulty curve is actually kind of easy, because over time you'll be defeating them and they'll be getting weaker. Whereas like the Skaven Vermintide one, if you want to hover over that one starts off kind of medium difficulty, but it kind of like persists.
Yep.
And then the Great Ritual of Nagash is again different, where it starts off kind of medium difficulty, but it will become much harder.
Yep.
The other thing to mention with these, you can change the maximum number. So the cool thing with the endgame scenarios is if you really want and you're a little bit crazy, you can have them all in one campaign. We've set the default value so only one appears, but if you want, you can set them to 3, and then you can have one of them each after each other.
So they chain.
Yeah, so they chain. You can't have them all appearing at the same time, only ever one endgame at once. But if you want, they can come after each other. And then we've changed the turn range as well, so it'll come a little bit after the crisis events, but again, fully customizable if you want to do that.
You can do that if you want like an anarchy playthrough.
Yeah.
But also a new difficulty for them as well.
Yeah. So this one, full transparency. I don't think we're going to keep this.
Okay.
Again, this is like a work in
And we'll
progress.
pretend we didn't say any of this if it isn't.
Yeah. So the difficulty. This is something we went back and forth on a lot. We did originally have like even more kind of difficulty sliders. But the reality of these end games is because they're like so hyper specific, having difficulty essentially settings didn't really work.
Yeah.
They kind of just, again, because they're so bespoke, they kind of are what they are.
Yep.
So we're much more reliant on just what you set your difficulty setting as in the campaign in general.
Yeah.
So obviously if you're playing on legendary, naturally the end game is going to be more difficult than if you're playing on easy, right? So rather than putting kind of a little bit more customization here, we just wanted to make them a little bit more bespoke because it gives us a little bit more control over the experience, which ultimately for these I think is the route we wanted to go.
So we will very quickly pause for questions because there's been a lot of questions.
Yeah.
The first one is, so this says Archaon. If you're not playing as Archaon,
yeah.
So if you are playing as Archaon, this won't trigger.
Yeah.
But any of the other Chaos forces, it could still trigger.
Yeah. So if you play as Archaon, this one won't work obviously because naturally Archaon is the Chaos Invasion. If you play as any other Chaos aligned faction, that excludes the Chaos Dwarfs.
Yep.
But any other truly Chaos aligned faction, you'll get the opportunity to join Archaon. You'll be given a dilemma essentially. Do you want to join Archaon's invasion of the world, or do you want to just say, hey bro, I'm not part of this, fight against him, and you can almost like become your own version of the Everchosen, right? So yeah, for the Chaos one, you can decide, presuming you're not Archaon himself, whether you want to join or not.
That's really cool. I imagine a lot of people boot up Be'lakor and have a bit of a rivalry between the two.
Yeah. And then for the Skaven one, we went back and forth on this one as well, but we've ultimately decided it's best that if you're playing as Skaven, again because the scenarios are so bespoke, if you're playing a Skaven, you can't get the Skaven Vermintide one.
So one of the questions we're seeing a lot of is how does this work with multiplayer?
Yeah, so the rules are essentially the same. If a player is Archaon, then obviously you can't have the endgame scenario for Chaos Invasion.
Yep.
So the rules don't differ between multiplayer and single player.
And if my friend is Archaon and I'm Be'lakor, will it still give me the option to join?
No, because again, if he's Archaon, it won't trigger at all.
Oh, true.
Because you like the system needs Archaon to be there.
So if they're Sigvald and I'm Be'lakor, could one of us join and the other one not?
That's a good question. I think so. I think I'll have to double check that one, but I'm not sure where we landed on that for the dilemma. But
cool. I am having a look just to see if there's other. How does the final battle work in co-op?
The final battle. So yeah, again, it depends on the rules. So it depends on what endgame you can trigger. But if you do, because essentially what the endgame faction is a unique faction that can't be played, so there won't ever be any problems. Like you'll always be able to fight that battle.
Yep.
And if you're in co-op, then obviously normal systems apply, and your friend can help.
Okay. Just seeing if there's anything else. There are a lot of questions, but we also have a lot of stuff to go through. So, and I can see some of these. A lot of these are questions about Archaon, and we will be playing Archaon after we've shown the other two end games. Okay. Let's move on to the next save. If there's anything else, Steve, in chat that you're seeing, please feel free to flag it. Your choice. We can either show the Vermintide, or if you would rather, we can show the Devastation.
Yeah, show the Devastation. Why not? So yeah, this is to be clear, like just a debug save that I created for Josh, where I think I've blown up like half of the world essentially with the Devastation, just so we can go in and look at all three different types. Because like when we started this project, like we wanted to make, as I said earlier, we wanted to make things like look and feel different. And in terms of like look, I think we've blown out even like my wildest expectations. Like as people will see in just a sec, it looks
very similar to the initial concept art, which is always
exactly. So here we are in Lustria. This is the Skaven Devastation. So as you can see, like warp stone everywhere, glowing green. And if you just hold still for a second, you can also see like the meteors kind of coming in from the background. So yeah, this is very Skaven. And yeah, it just looks so cool. You've got like crashed meteors that have blown up a mountain, right? Like it looks like so different. It's like essentially three entirely different like art sets for the entire map.
Yeah.
So like I can't give like big enough props to the campaign environment team. The work they've done is incredible, and you've got like massive like caverns that have been like torn into the world, right? It just looks amazing. It looks really amazing. So yeah, this is the Skaven one, and then if you go to the Southlands, so this is Nagash's kind of like, or more generally like the undead. So you've got like that turquoise glowing one, and if you go down to like the bottom right again, you can see like the mountains. They kind of, again, you've got like these massive like crevices in the ground where you've got like the little like obelisks and stuff that are like built into it. So yeah, it just looks, and you've got like the little ghosts that are just screaming out from the ground,
desperately trying to escape.
Yeah, so just looks incredible.
And just to be clear, this is for those tuning in, this is a dev save of this, right? Usually there'd be a lot more death to have achieved.
Yeah, so I've literally just flipped over the art here. I haven't done any, like normally regions would be raised, armies would be dead, obviously. This is just turn 1. And then, yeah, this is the, like, the blowing up the Empire here with the Chaos one, right? So it's got that awesome, like, orange glow. And again, it's just, like, marks of chaos in the ground, right? It's all just, like, lava and death and mountains torn asunder, and yeah, it just looks incredible. If you go over to, like, where the dwarfs are, this is, like, some of my favorite bits. So if you, like, yeah, zoom in there to, like, Karak Kadrin, you can see, like, the the dwarf holds of, like,
That's really cool.
collapsed in on themselves and stuff. It just looks amazing.
That's gonna take a lot of work. Wow, that is so cool.
So yeah, this is the art. This is, like, part of what you can expect when the end games trigger and the world starts getting destroyed.
Fantastic. Then should we do Vermintide?
Yeah, sure.
I set this one over in Lustria because we wanted to show how. Yeah. Hold on.
Are we live? No, we're not.
It thinks we are, but that doesn't. Oh no, we aren't. People, we're back.
We're back.
Okay.
Woohoo!
Okay. I think all they missed really was a loading screen, so we
Okay.
should be fine. So this is the Vermintide.
Yeah.
As you can see, everything's going perfectly fine. It's again another where we've just ended turn 20 times.
Yeah.
But I grabbed its hero because we want to see over there. Right. Should we let the cutscene play out this time? Do we want to show all the cutscenes?
Can.
Oh, let me look and see if someone says we want to see all the cutscenes. And if I see that before the end game, the end turn thing happens, then I will mute us and they can watch the cutscene.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't want spoilers, close your eyes.
All I'm seeing is yes. All right, I'm going to mute us, and someone's got to remember that I have to unmute us.
Okay.
Because I'm definitely going to forget.
Across every land, its toll resounds. The dreadful peal of inevitability. Skaven lurk in the depths. They await its final clangor. 13 times, 13 moons, the Horned One has waited. For the Vermintide to coalesce and drown the surface in ruin. So goes the death knell. For the end of the world. Doom. Doom. Doom.
There we go. Those are still work in progress.
They are.
As you can all see. But now we have a big new panel for us to
Yeah,
talk about.
another one of these, again, showing you the kind of unique mechanics. No music.
Yeah.
So that might be one of the work. So those cutscenes are going to have music. I don't know if that one did because we couldn't hear it, but each of them is going to have music if that one didn't. So yeah, here we are in the Vermintide one. Again, this is kind of completely unique mechanics. But like the Chaos one, as I mentioned, the way the Skaven one works is, again, all Skaven band together. And this is like the Vermintide. This is the Great Ascendancy. This is kind of the Horned Rat saying to Skaven, okay, work together, guys. This is kind of, where I really want you to go out and, like, take the surface world, essentially. So yeah, this endgame is led by Screech Verminking. He is the guy that says, I'm going to do it. And yeah, one of the big things about the Vermintide is that they're kind of no longer hiding. This is them saying, the surface world is ours, we're going to take it. So all Vermintide settlements are always visible, and they have undercities, we'll talk about those more, and those are always visible as well. Much like the other one, all of the other Chaos and the Nagash one. Again, all factions fighting against the Vermintide have a diplomacy bonus, so you can make more alliances and stuff.
Yep.
And yeah, the Vermintide one functions kind of like half like a normal faction, but half unique gameplay. So the Vermintide is all about, as you might expect, just millions of rats. So you're gonna have to face a lot of Skaven armies, and they have essentially like a unique under empire which spreads like very rapidly. But you can see it and you can deal with it in certain different ways. One of the ways that, well, in fact, the way that you're going to have to kind of work to defeat the Vermintide is they've got a grand plan. And again, you're going to have a final battle that you're going to need to fight. But to kind of figure out what their grand plan is and find out where you can go and fight this final battle, you have to learn about their plans. And to do that, you need to gain war plan knowledge. And to gain war plan knowledge, you need to fight against their forces. So you can imagine, like, you kind of kill an army, capture their general, right, and then you kind of like interrogate him or whatever, and you know, you can gain more and more knowledge about what their plans actually are. So yeah, if we close this and then hover that, so you can see again the Vermintide. They're trying to occupy the world. They're not like raising it like Chaos. They want to own the world. And yeah, you can see an estimated number of rats. I thought that was just...
That is fun.
It is based on the actual numbers, like roughly. So you can kind of see how many rats there are in the world. And yeah, you can see... Now Josh has moved over. So the way the Vermintide spawning works, it is... They do spawn all across the world. And they spawn in like thematic places. So you're like, obviously, the Altar of the Horned Rat, Skaven Blight, Hell Pit... Crookback Mountain.
And I believe we can see Skaven Blight.
Yeah, so you can see, there you go. So you can see some of like the core locations, and you can see they spawned like, lots of like vermin lords and stuff. So at like really critical locations all across the world, these become like the hubs for the Skaven. This is where they really like start to come out of the Ender Empire. So if you like hover or click Skaven Blight. So if you go to their settlement first, actually. So their settlements are like much more simplistic. So they're kind of their buildings, again, work in progress text and all that, but their buildings are much more simplistic. They essentially allow like chance based to both like spawn armies essentially and spread the Under Empire. And then the more the settlements grow, so if you go on their extra building,
this one,
so you can see the more the armies that they build in their settlements, so the more a settlement grows over time, the greater chance that like a Vermintide army will essentially come up from the Under Empire and like come into the world. So as the Vermintide is spreading, you really want to like act fast and act proactively, and like when they take a region, don't let it grow, because then it's going to be an even bigger problem. And then if you go back to their settlement, so here we've got their unique Under Empire. So their Under Empire spawns, and it spawns rapidly, and you cannot remove it manually. So there's a bunch of like new kind of systems in the game now as part of the end game to deal with the Under Empire, because this is kind of one of their major threats to you. So if an Under Empire, one of their Under cities, kind of spreads to your region, that's a major problem, because the longer it kind of persists there, the more it's going to start like sapping the wealth of your region. So again, you're going to have to make some like really difficult choices about what you're going to do with the Skaven. So if you go back to one of your settlements, just anyone, and then you open up building browser, and then scroll to the right. So you can kind of see here, there's now, and this will only be present during the end game. So this is kind of where like that, that philosophy I mentioned earlier, like, it's not just about like challenging the player. It's about like novelty. I want to like give the players something that they've not experienced before. So one of those things is you get like an entire different like building chain. And this building chain is one of the things that you can utilize to deal with the Vermintide. So like the one you just hovered over, right, is well placed explosive. Yeah. So because the Under Empire for the Vermintide, like I can't stress enough, it is like one of their like main, essentially, like sources of power. Like it's going to be really tough to deal with. So you're going to have to make like tough choices.
Scorched earth effect.
Essentially, scorched earth tactics is something you really might want to consider. So if you might want to consider maybe blowing up your like border provinces, or maybe you've got like an ally on your border. Maybe take their region and blow it up, just so you've got like this sort of scorched earth border, because like the Vermintide is going to be spreading, and it's going to be spreading fast. And you want to kind of like essentially like hold on as long as possible against the millions and millions of rats, while you can kind of learn about their war plans long enough so that you can eventually defeat them. And I think the one on the right is, like a raid on the Undercity. So you can use this to like essentially raid the Undercity. It'll get rid of like the Under Empire that's nearby, but it'll spawn a Vermintide army that will, cause you problems.
Yep.
So yeah, there's kind of, again, unique stuff that you can deal with that you've not really had before. Again, that's the idea of these end games, is unique gameplay, to kind of give you a little bit of novelty, and not just like spawn armies just on their own.
Yep. And one thing we haven't mentioned yet is the Devastation is not just a campaign map visual.
Mm-hmm.
There are Devastation battle maps. So if you're fighting on a devastated, so this I imagine will soon become devastated.
Yeah.
You'll be fighting on a brand new battle map.
Yeah, that's a good point. So yeah, absolutely. All of the Devastation types have brand new battle maps. They look just as incredible as they do on the campaign map. Mm-hmm. So brand new battle maps that you've never seen before, and there's quite a lot of them as well. So
we might be able to trigger one later. I've got to save that Neferata has attacked me 9 times out of 10 when I end turn on a devastated province. Cool. So we'll cross our fingers.
And the other thing to mention, this is a good reminder actually on the battle maps. One of the things we saw players really wanted was to bring back the, well, I guess not bring back, but put the, what's the word I'm looking for? The Realms of Chaos.
Oh, yeah.
The Realms of Chaos battle maps into Immortal Empires in some way. So we've actually done that now as part of the Chaos Invasion endgame. So essentially, because all of the various armies in the Chaos Invasion are themed on the gods, depending on like the corruption in the world. So if a province is really like Khorne corrupted, mm-hmm. you'll be able to fight like the Khorne right. Realms of Chaos maps while the Chaos Invasion is ongoing. So yeah, you're going to be getting a whole host of new battle maps, especially like I said, those old ones coming back as well. So it all goes into like, look, feel different. Everything's going to feel very different when these end games are ongoing, because literally the world is different down to the very battle maps themselves. So yeah, that's a big win, I think.
Awesome. Anything? Oh, one thing we haven't spoken about is it does say Doom Spheres detonated.
Yeah, so again, the Under Empires, those are, for the Vermintide, just really a pain in the ass, mm-hmm. basically. And so one of the things that they can do is, you will have noticed when we clicked on one earlier, there's an empty slot, and they can put a Doom Sphere into that slot. So again, you just want to deal with Skaven as fast as possible when they kind of arrive in your territory. You're going to need to make those harsh decisions, because if you let them just exist long enough, you're going to have big problems. And
that will then culminate again in a big final battle.
Exactly.
The climax of the
final battle for the Vermintide as well. I won't spoil it, but yeah, you'll find out what their grand plan is once you get enough knowledge of their war plans, and then you can go there, fight Screech, and eventually defeat the Vermintide.
Reminds me of that guy, I think, was it a YouTube video of where someone detonated a Doom Sphere under every single settlement in one turn to win the game? Maybe that's the grand plan.
Yeah.
Awesome. Then, shall we pop over to Nagash?
Yeah.
Although, not to Nagash, to Nagash's best friend.
Yeah.
So we can actually start off with this one, which will have one of the forewarnings you were talking about. So I think this is 10 turns before the crisis spawns.
Yeah, so each of them has foreshadowing events, give you a nice bit of narrative, also kind of like let you prepare a little bit for what's coming. So you know that if you start getting the foreshadowings for Nagash, right, you need to, maybe I need to like start heading in the direction of like Khemri and the desert and such, right?
Yep. Is there any devastation outside of the endgame scenarios?
Yeah, there are, in kind of like certain situations. So I won't talk too much about the Skaven part of this DLC, but yeah, there'll be the Skaven devastation as part of that. If you're Nagash, obviously you can get the devastation as Nagash, and I think a few ways for the undead as well, for vampire counts. You can also get some devastation, and equally so when we talk about Archaon later, we'll talk a little bit more about getting devastation there as well. So yeah, I think this is the second foreshadowing. Mm-hmm. So it'll tell you like a little bit, a bit of flavor, right, about what's going on in the world, and then you'll also, understand like what's starting to change about the world. So in this case, all of Nagash's Mortarks are removed from the campaign map.
Yep.
Because they form a big part of the Nagash endgame.
And a lot of this endgame stuff came towards the more tail end development, right? Because we wanted to understand Nagash's mechanics before we implemented an endgame. Similar thing with Skaven, and that's why there's 2 R's in disappeared. But we will fix that.
Yeah.
I will jump on over to the actual endgame.
Cool.
And thanks to Will, who was the person who did a lot of my all of the Alpha Strike gameplay, because Will went and got all of these saves for me yesterday for the endgame triggering. Because it turns out sitting there pressing end turn 20 times actually doesn't just take 5 minutes. It's a decent chunk of time. So we'll show this off, and then we will jump over to Archaon, where we are playing as Archaon. And before we do that, though, I know you had some things you wanted to chat about from last stream. We can do that now, or we can do that after Nagash.
Yeah, it'll be a nice break after Nagash.
Okay, so I've just got to end turn.
Yeah. We're going to let them watch the...
I think we will. And we'll see if the music's in. I think this one's very drawn from the announced cinematic.
Yeah.
So it'll be a lot of stuff you guys have seen before, but hopefully you can enjoy it in its new context. Right. Everyone remember that I've muted us.
The sands of Nehekara shudder. What little life remains is consumed. The undead legions rise, their souls enthralled to the Master's call. All who hear his silent command must answer, powerless before its irresistible pull. Nagash, supreme lord of undeath, has returned. In death, all shall serve.
Oh, there we go. Okay,
We're back.
We should be back. And we have the Great Ritual of Nagash.
We do. So yeah, Nagash. Also, we just say there will be a picture here. When it's faded to black here, there will eventually be a picture. So yeah, Nagash, this is the third and final one. And yeah, this one, as we kind of said on the front end, this one kind of starts off medium difficulty, but increases to potentially very hard. So one of the things that happens kind of in that foreshadowing event that we saw is all of the Mortarks that related to Nagash will kind of leave the world and prepare to join him in his great ritual, essentially. So Nagash is obviously on the campaign map, right? Like throughout the campaign. So what kind of this event is much more focused on is this is him saying, putting his hands together, with his bones, I guess, putting his bones together and saying, okay, this is me. I'm about to really kick off now and do some crazy stuff. So you can kind of see, first of all, the Black Pyramid. It's on the move.
Yep.
And it's going somewhere.
That's not a bug.
It's not a bug. It's supposed to be going somewhere. So the Black Pyramid, this is part of Nagash's grand plan, part of his great ritual. It's heading to Nagashazar. And it's going to take, again, you're going to
ignore the Skaven.
Ignore the Skaven stuff. But you're going to be able to see here that pyramid arrival, 20 turns. So this pyramid, it's on its way to Nagashazar, and it's going to get there in 20 turns. And the other thing, if you hover back over the tooltip, one of the things you'll see is he has a power level. So his power level, it's based on a bunch of different things. It's based on his number of armies, number of settlements, number of Mortarks, and various other things like from Nagash himself and Devastation. And that will give him like a total power level. And based on that total power level, essentially when the pyramid gets to Nagashazar, that power level will be taken, and then the final battle will be available at that point straight away. So the power level is going to affect how hard that final battle is going to be, ranging from, if you keep him at power level 1, yeah, the battle's going to be doable. If you got him at like power level max, that battle's going to be real brutal. So what you're essentially going to want to be doing in these 20 turns is lowering, or if not lowering, but just like try and maintain his power level as much as possible. You do not want Nagash during those 20 turns to be growing in power. So you're going to want to seek out and kill his Mortarks. You're going to want to fight his armies, right? You're going to want to take his regions. You're going to want to essentially lower his power level as much as you can, because that's going to have a big influence on that battle when he eventually gets to Nagashizar. So over those next 20 turns, you're going to see the Black Pyramid on its way. It's going to be moving towards Nagashizar until it eventually gets there.
We can have one turn of movement.
Sure, why not?
But also, so someone was saying, oh no, have I got to immediately run over to here to be able to do anything? But no, the point being that there are Mortarks all around, right?
Yeah, exactly. So this is true for all of the end games, as I said earlier. If we had just kept it localized on like this area, right, in the Black Pyramid, if you're in Lustria, right, obviously you're in big trouble. Same for the Skaven one, same for the Chaos one. So how each of the end games works is they all kind of do essentially some like complex, clever logic behind the scenes to kind of put like part of the challenge into your part of the world, so that you'll always have something to deal with no matter where you are in the world. So yeah, that'll be true for Nagash just as it is for the others. So you'll have forces of Nagash, like some of his Mortarks and stuff, in your part of the world. So you'll be able to go there and fight those nearby. And then yeah, if you really kind of want to make a real proactive effort, you can then obviously head to the Black Pyramid where things are going to kick off. And this again is one of the big reasons as to why we wanted to do the foreshadowing events, is so that you can start to make like some strategic decisions earlier on in your campaign, because things are about to get crazy.
And the I was going to say something. I saw a question and it was gone. No, it's gone.
It'll come back.
But yes, the feel really here is that was it. They were talking about 20 turns. They were saying at the end of those 20 turns, are you able to teleport to that final battle, or have you got to walk on over there?
Yeah, so all of the final battles are kind of like quest battles, so you can teleport there. The other big thing actually that I've not mentioned, this is kind of a critical piece that I haven't mentioned. One of the things that's going to happen when Nagash gets to Nagashizar is he's going to be starting to do his great ritual. And every turn, again, depending on his power level, he's going to start destroying parts of the world. He's going to turn them into, the lands of the kind of dead, right? He's going to be devastating them. He's going to turn them into necropolises. So every turn, I think like between 1 and maybe 9, depending on his, I can't remember the numbers, but basically a varied number of provinces in the world are going to start getting destroyed by Nagash, completely at random throughout the world, while he's in Nagashizar doing his ritual. So again, you've got those 20 turns to prepare, and then you're going to want to destroy him as fast as you can, because he's going to be destroying the world. And that's one of the big reasons as to why it starts off medium difficulty and then ramps up into very hard, is because the longer you wait, the more of the world that's going to start getting destroyed. So.
Yeah, so to clarify that then, it's not at 20 turns, you've got to go and fight that battle.
No.
It's 20 turns is when that's available, and it's how long you want to risk waiting versus building your own power.
Exactly.
Cool. Can I use the changeling to teleport the black... What happens if the changeling teleports the Black Pyramid away?
So the Black Pyramid isn't actually an army here, it's just a representation of the Black Pyramid. So you can't do anything to it when it's on the move. It's just like eventually when it gets to its destination, you can.
So I think they're saying that obviously like the changeling has the regional thing, which lets you move the Black Pyramid.
Right. What do you mean?
If he does that, what happens when the endgame? Does the Black Pyramid just come back to here to start off for its trip? Where does the changeling move the Black Pyramid to? Someone will remind me. But it's a very minor point.
Okay.
It's more of a, I imagine it will just come back here and start on its trail again. There was another question. Can you, as the Archaon endgame, fight one of the other endgames?
Can you...
If you are Archaon, you trigger your endgame.
Right.
And then the Nagash one starts.
Oh, I see. So, well, we'll cover Archaon in a bit when we switch to him. But yeah, you can you will be able to experience the other endgames if you're Archaon. So similarly, if you play as a Skaven, you can't get the Vermintide, but you can get the Chaos and the Nagash one, right? So those are the rules I mentioned.
Cool. Right. Then I think if we want to do a quick pause for you to answer some of the questions from stuff that came up on last stream.
Yeah.
While I boot up Archaon.
Yeah. So yeah, these are a couple of things thought I'd mention in this stream just because we talked about them in the last stream. So some cool things. And also I thought important to mention here because they were like based on last stream in some cases.
Yeah.
So one of the things we talked about last time, because we covered Neferata, was Ulrika, right? Are we going to do Ulrika for Neferata? My answer last time was we were in the midst of finding out. We were going to go check with Games Workshop and the like. And so yeah, good news. We're going to do Ulrika for Neferata. So we checked with Games Workshop. They liked the idea. We liked the idea. We did it. So yeah, Ulrika is now accessible for Neferata as part of her, similar to how the rest of the legendary heroes work for vampire counts. In Neferata's tech tree, you can get Ulrika as a legendary hero. So yeah, it makes her campaign even cooler. The other thing I'll mention, just because this was based on, I saw this on Reddit based on the stream last time. So I'll give credit as well to who this was. Critical Hold's name was on Reddit. Good job, you. You made a thread based on the background traits for characters as they come out of the layers. So this was something I thought about earlier in the project. And I wasn't really happy with it, but it was just really difficult to fix. Where essentially the issue was if you make a lord from a vampire lair, they had a random background trait. And there's no really nice way to fix that as part of layers, unfortunately.
Yep.
But I saw this guy's thread and I was like, god damn it, I really want to fix this. So I was thinking of ideas over the weekend and I did come up with a solution. So I've added something to vampire counts now where it's a new item. I think it's like a lexicon of unlearning is what I called it. And if you equip this item on a lord, it'll re-roll their background trait, cool. Which is pretty cool. So not something we've done before. But yeah, that's a really, I don't know if it's elegant or not, but I mean, I like the solution. So it'll let you get whatever background trait you want if you're willing to use these items. Another thing, I saw this on the forums, was people really wanted Tomb Guard for Neferata as one of the Tomb King units. So I did that as well, added Tomb Guard. The cool thing about this, I give you a max of 10 Tomb Guards, so you can actually get now, based on the others as well, you can get up to 19 Tomb King units.
There we go, that's an army.
So it's a full army now of Tomb King units, so that's kind of nice. And yeah, I kind of must have missed this when I was reading about Neferata, but Tomb Guard, yeah, makes total sense for her. The other thing I want to mention, this isn't necessarily good news, but I just want to mention it because it was such a massive thing from the stream. But the Ghoul King, essentially players want us to make him a hero. Yeah. So I just want to mention that we have seen that feedback. It's too late to do something at that point. That would be like a pretty major change for this point in the project. But because we did see so much feedback on that, I just want to mention that it has been noted, it has been recorded.
I think part of that complication as well is not even just our side, but a DLC being sold with a certain content in a certain way. Changing that content has its own ramifications, so there'd be discussions there if that did then try and move forward.
So yeah, I think what I would say on that is we've not explored that yet, but I think maybe that is possibly something we could explore in future for a patch or something. But again, we've not even begun that yet. Yeah. So like the main point is just that we've heard the feedback, just so you know that we're listening on that point.
Cool.
So yeah, there was a couple of points from last stream that I wanted to cover off. But yeah, here we are.
So
in Archaon.
This is my Archaon save, and you know it's my Archaon save because I can click on anyone and you can see I have forgotten to equip any items.
Yeah.
But the first thing to show off is Confederation.
Well, what you just showed off, I
yes.
suppose. Yeah. So yeah, a big thing. This is kind of weird because this is such like an enormous thing, but we can essentially just say it in like one bullet point. But it's like I've not played an Archaon campaign yet since we've done this, so this probably will be my first campaign actually when we release. But you can now, as Archaon, confederate all chaos essentially. So this is all demons of chaos and all warriors of chaos. So you can get everyone.
Yep.
You can get everyone. Like I said, that's just a single point, but I'm sure players will understand just how immense that is. You can get like literally every single character.
And the way it works is you can either go beat up the faction leader.
Yeah.
And if you're going to do that, I highly recommend taking the Dark Fortress first. because I didn't do that, and then I learned the hard way. I'm going to have to pay this person a lot of money to get this settlement back. So I recommend taking the Dark Fortress and then beating up the leader. So I took
so it's like you said, it's essentially like the dilemma system.
Yeah.
So once you defeat the Lord, you'll get offered the choice, like, do you want to confederate them? And then they can join your faction. And there is a second way as well, which is that obviously you're not going to be nearby all of the Chaos Lords. So if one of those lords was to die and their faction was to die, at that point you'll get a dilemma as well, or not, like maybe not immediately, but sometime essentially after the faction has died, you'll get a dilemma saying, hey, do you want to fight this guy? And if you're willing to fight that guy, then you can again bring him into your faction and confederate him. So that's the second way you can get.
Because I did not go all the way to Cathay to get Dakala. Dakala was defeated. I got the opportunity to fight Dakala in one final battle and then vassalize them. But it's a really nice way to have, like, I've tried to have a Tzeentch army and a Khorne army, and I didn't get to a Slaanesh army yet because I am poor, which is always how I play Total War. Okay, so that's the first big difference with Archaon, right? Is the ability to get all of these vassals, and they combine into, Khorne, Slaanesh, Tzeentch, all their own specific vassals. I also got Boris, who not a member of Chaos, but a temporary friend of Archaon. But then the second part of this is the victory condition, right? So once you have completed the short victory condition, which you can see, I could have done this in 50 turns, but I actually, the one that I finished last was I had put off doing a lot of the quest battles. In fact, that is a point people will notice. Just because you've confederated them, you don't lose out. So where is it? There you go, like the Black Cleaver. We can still get this quest here. You will spot it in Archaon's army. I still have the chieftains that were available at the time. I don't think I can get more chieftains, so that might be something you want to consider when you want to fight Tarmukhan. But you are going to have an insane number of characters and heroes to pick from as Archaon now.
Pretty cool.
So, the short campaign victory. You can see I've left it just to recruit 2 units. But once you've done that, you get some unique rewards. So these are new rewards. We're going to have a lot of Chaos Knights. And what we're going to do is we're just going to recruit 2 units. I know I'm going to lose this province. That's my Kairos Fate Weaver has given me a heads up.
All right.
So we're not going to do too much of this because I have other saves where I've lost less. This isn't the ideal place for me to have been triggering being the endgame because, as you can see, there is an incredibly strong Carl. I'm not even the strongest guy on the map. But that's because I ran around fighting Arbol for 5 turns. All right.
So the other thing we can mention, something else, while this end turn is going on. But yeah, we've also made a change to Archaon's warband system so that he could get some of the units that he couldn't previously get. So I'm just going to check because I don't want to get this wrong. But yeah, I think it's Wrathmongers and Skull Reapers.
Yeah, we can flash that up as well.
Yeah, so we've added those to the warband system now so that he can get those units.
I saw a question a couple of times about Archaon the Black, if there's been any changes. I believe there haven't been a widespread number of changes to Archaon the Black, simply because the scale of everything else that's been happening.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of like, we'll talk about this, but yeah, no changes to Archaon really, or Tomb Kings, other than a couple of units, right?
And the changes to the books themselves.
Yeah, and the books of Nagash, yeah.
So, 2 choices. I can keep playing as I enjoy, or I can become the Endgame Crisis.
Yeah, so you can become the Endgame here. And yeah, it's kind of up to you. But if you want to do this, you essentially kind of turn into the Archaon, very similar to the Archaon from the Endgame itself. So from now on, all of the regions that you take, you'll have to raise, and you raise them permanently. So kind of, again, like how the Endgame itself works. So you are, from this point forward, destroying the world. And again, this is optional. You don't have to go this path, but this is allowing you to like live out the fantasy of being, the true kind of Archaon, the ever-chosen destroyer of the world.
Yep, and it is worth noting, you want to really choose when you trigger that with the, when you want to decide to finish off your short victory, because you can't retake places you lose very easily. So you want to feel like you're in a strong... you can tell a lot of this I've learned the hard way. you want to make sure you're in a strong position
Yeah.
when you begin being the endgame. Maybe not next to the number 1 and number 2 most strong faction in the game.
Yeah.
With Archaon stuck fighting Neferata. But we're going to load into once I have taken a few more provinces. So we've got a little bit of devastation going, and then we will be able to show one of the devastated maps.
Yeah.
This is the last stream we're doing on kind of the update content. So after this, we'll be starting off running through the 4 Lords of the End Times. I think the first of those next week will be Glockin.
Cool.
So we'll maybe be looking to dial someone in from Sophia. But there is more. There's a whole lot more that we've not been able to cover.
We haven't even got there yet.
We haven't spoken about. So obviously, we said that there were some changes. Sigvald becoming a Slaanesh champion. Changes to the Slaanesh tech tree. Building tree, to be more in line with what we'd spoken about last time.
Yeah.
There are, and also like all of the battles at the end of all of those end games you saw. There are so many little things that have been changed. I think like items. Was it items for Cetra? There's loads and loads of little stuff that's been added in. We're not going to have time to explore it all. But just know, also, they really wanted to kill me with those agents. Just know there is loads in there to be looking at. So, devastation triggers once you've destroyed over half the settlements in a province, right?
Yeah.
Luckily.
Oh, you're prepared.
I am prepared. So we've devastated this region. And that is now going to make us a bit stronger.
Yeah, so kind of, again, similar to how you, or how it works in the Chaos Endgame itself, Archaon has a similar system. So the more of the world that he destroys, the more powerful Archaon's going to become. So this is kind of, mirroring that ward save power thing from the endgame itself. The more you destroy, more ward save you'll get as Archaon and upkeep as well.
And you will need it. Because it is, especially when you're... I found now that with Archaon, because I'm spending a lot more time confederating all of these lords, I'm going around effectively doing side quests, right? Because I'm spending so long doing that, when actually it comes to triggering it, I am usually in a weaker position than I have been in previous campaigns with Archaon, because if I know that that's the victory condition I'm going for, I'm actually very thematically setting up the lords that I want to be with me during my own end game. So it's been an interesting experience of like, turn 70, I'd expect to own all of this, right? But honestly, Arbor gave me such a hard time for the first 5 turns. He has so many Chaos Warriors of Khorne. But that meant that now that I've triggered it, it does feel like effectively a reset on my game. Like I'm in the second stage where I've got to try and somehow take out the strongest man on the planet.
Yeah, I mean, fighting the entire world, who thought that would be hard, right?
Yeah. People, I imagine people do not like me and will start declaring war more and more as they encounter me. Also, a little preview of someone else there. Am I still able to confederate people while I'm now in this endgame situation?
That's a good question. I don't know the answer to that.
I don't either.
Okay, there you go. Someone will have to find that out when you play.
I'd assume so, because it doesn't look like it turns off.
Yeah,
because it's
would
defeating the
so.
Lord that lets me confederate them. Or if you do destroy their last province, you get the ability to. So right, now we are all going to see... Oh, I think I quick saved it so I wouldn't have to worry about not being attacked. We'll be able to show off one of the Devastation battle maps.
Cool.
Someone said show the warband screen, which I didn't do, so we'll go back and do that as well.
Yeah. Another small thing to mention. Sigvald.
Yes.
Should we talk about him?
Can do.
So yeah, Sigvald. This has been constant feedback from players, you guys, since basically the release of like Warhammer 3, I think, where we introduced Slaanesh, obviously, and players wanted Sigvald to be part of Slaanesh. So we've made that change. Finally, players can stop asking us to do it. And yeah, he's part of the Slaanesh kind of race now, which means he'll get the seduction mechanic and such. Kind of just like how you'd expect from other lords, part of Slaanesh. So yeah, our boy Sigvald is Slaanesh now, where he should be.
I did not check this army to see if there were any units I couldn't show, and those are Black Knights. Does it? Can you tell?
Can you tell? Yeah. So yeah, very.
Oh, hold on. Has the stream gone down? Someone's asked if we've crashed. We didn't crash.
But did the stream crash?
He wasn't allowed to show those knights. Okay. Oh, saved. We're back.
We're back.
I don't know. Honestly, this stream is the most cursed tech stream I've ever done. So, It's a devastated battle map.
Devastated. Yeah, so, yeah, kind of like you can imagine from what we showed of the devastation on the campaign map. Very much themed on that for each of the devastation types. So, yeah, the chaos ones, you've got the destruction, the terrain, torn apart, lava, corruption, all of that kinds. And yeah, there's loads of different kinds of maps for each of the devastation types as well.
Yep.
So yeah, you can expect loads of different ones.
And they are the lava as well, looking fantastic.
Yeah.
Nice and slow. I don't think I'll fight this battle because that's then just 15 minutes of me
Losing probably
losing.
as well. It's half your army's dead.
Hey, look! It's... Oh, wow, that is...
You would lose.
That doesn't look good for me. I mean, I've got a level 49 Archaon.
Okay.
I think... Oh, it really feels like you've challenged me, but I shouldn't. We haven't got the time.
No, it's fine.
Do you know what? If we can just tell everyone that after the stream I played it and won it, I would feel pretty good about that.
We'll give them an update. Next stream.
He could take him single-handedly. And Harold will get there just as the battle's ended on foot. Right, we'll boot into pre-endgame? Doesn't really matter, does it?
Doesn't matter.
Cool. We'll show the warbands, and then I think we are pretty much there.
Yeah.
We'll see if it... do you know what? Did it crash on a loading screen last time?
Oh, maybe it did, because this is when we were coming
Hold
in
on, what
from
if I do that?
Yeah.
Then maybe somehow...
It doesn't crash.
It doesn't crash, so we'll see.
To be clear, it's the stream crashing, not the game.
Yes.
Just to defend the game here.
Yeah, the game's been absolutely fine. Especially seeing as this is you'll see like a lot of the stuff we were doing was there was a lot of placeholder text. This is just a daily from a few days ago. This wasn't a specific one. All right. I think we're alive.
We're alive.
So...
Warbands. So yeah, if you go into the corn one, so then top left, you've got, Wrathmongers, and the Skull Reapers. So yeah, some additions. To be clear, I'm not the one that did the Archaon update, so there's probably things that both me and Josh have forgotten.
Yes.
During the talk about the Archaon update.
I mean, it was fun to explore and play it. People will have noticed, obviously, the victory conditions are new. And now my long victory condition has changed to represent the one that I picked. Reach faction strength number 1. Cool. I'm going to have a fight with our Carl Franz on my hands for that.
Just take it off Carl Franz, right?
But these are all new. So like now I've got these items, new items.
Yeah.
Very cool to see. But that will be for every faction. And this is what I mean of like there's just too much for us to be able to show off in a couple of streams. Cool. Drag the dev in charge of Archaon onto the stream. I believe they're on holiday today, so that would be very cruel of us.
Yeah.
Cool. I think that is pretty much everything we have. There are some... I mean, people have said there are still quite a lot of questions about Sigvald. I've not tried to boot Sigvald on this build, but I assume we can boot Sigvald.
Our series, why not?
And then we'll wrap up.
Yeah.
But only because there have been so many Sigvald requests. Someone asked if Archaon got an updated skill tree. We've just unloaded from him.
It's fine. We don't have to cover it.
I've just clicked continue campaign. So maybe we'll show it.
The people want Sigvald.
This is what they get.
Did you confederate Sigvald?
I think I did.
I mean, that's not the point.
It's not the point, but
at
least we show that you could be confederated.
Yeah.
I can't believe that was just such muscle memory. But we can check the skill tree. I don't know if it's been updated.
Neither do I.
So, but
this is one of the funny things about this is one of the biggest projects we've ever done.
I know.
There were a whole part I haven't loaded into like Nurgle once.
Yeah.
For like 10 months. So like I'm gonna be like players probably know more about this stuff than I do at this point. So I'm just as excited as everyone to play half of this stuff.
I mean, I booted a Nagash playthrough for the first time this morning.
Yeah.
So we'll all be, next week will be Glopkin, so we'll all explore it together. So there we go, we showed the skill tree. Up to you to work out if that was reworked or not. There is so much and it wasn't in our notes. Right, I'm going back to here just in case it crashes the stream. Okay, let's get Sigvald. And then he'll be...
Slanesh. No.
He'll be Warriors of Chaos.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So.
There you go. Slanesh.
There he is.
Sigvald. And yeah, can seduce units. Like I said, so he's got the seduction system.
Oh, it did crash again. Every time the game loads, it weirdly crashes. Oh, there we go.
Okay.
They couldn't even see the screen.
Yeah, so Sigvald, Stanesh. What more can we say? As I mentioned, he's got the seduction system, which is that's one of the really fun ones to use. So yeah, there you go. Not much more to say than that, but yeah, I think players will be happy and they can stop hounding us now about moving old Sigvald.
Yes, that is, I think, everything major that we had to cover. But we will have patch notes. We're going to start compiling those patch notes soon. There is so much to go into them.
Yeah.
So please forgive us, little things are missed off. But yeah, it's just been an immense amount of work to go into this update. And then the siege rework we have for 9.1, not 9.0. But that is, I believe, everything that we have to discuss. I can see people want me to click on Glotkin. I'm not going to do it. Cool. All right. Well, thank you very much for joining us, Mitch.
Yeah.
This was enlightening and devastating and ever-chosen.
Yeah.
I ran out after 2. But appreciate you coming on. We won't see you again for the rest of the streams, or at least I haven't actually booked anyone for the next 4, so never know. But
I'll be a backup. It's fine.
You be on the sofas.
Like I said, I've not loaded into even some of these characters myself, so I'm excited to play when it comes out myself.
Yes.
It's rare that I've been able to say that. So.
And a big thank you for everyone who tuned in, and for those, a thank you to Mitch from everyone in the chat for being here and joining us.
Yeah.
So next week we will have Glotkin. At least that's the plan. It may swap. But that's the plan for now. But tomorrow we have our Alpha Strike, which will be us showing the Gamescom build for Warhammer 40,000. That'll be on the sofas, so I'm going to have to move that massive piece of armour. But join us then. That'll be 3:30 tomorrow as well.
Cool.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.